Here we go. Hello, everybody. As promised, my Dresden tree. There's all 17 Dresden novels that I binge read, and I decorated it because I don't currently have an actual Christmas tree. Note to people who make bulbs, just put the damn hooks. Why do I have to buy them separate? Well, I didn't. So they're just inserted into the pages of the book there to decorate it. I didn't have a star, so I used the Death Star. Get it? And that's just going to sit there because these are supposed to be back on the shelf there, and I just don't have the room, and I'm not about to start shifting every damn thing around. I'm not in the mood for a labor of love right now, so they're just going to sit there for a little while. We are going to talk about the Archimedes engine, Exodus, Become the Traveler by Peter F. Hamilton. Apparently this is supposed to be connected to a video game. I didn't know that when I set out to read the book, but apparently that's a pretty lofty title, and I guess that goes with the video game. This is primarily winds up being a type of space opera that still relies on harder science fiction. So you don't have things like faster than light travel. You don't have gravity control. Ships have to, take a long time to get places. This has nice bits of technology, like, for example, something that reminded me of Minecraft. They're called, instead of limestone, it's called livestone. So you can use it to, if you're out lost in the woods and you need survival and you've got a livestone, you could turn it into a hut. Some of the more well-to-do beings have brain interfaces that have connections out to their hands, so they can connect to a computer, attack someone's mind if they happen to have the same brain interface set up. The one big one that then throws the harder sci-fi out is when you get to this takes place in a globular cluster, and that's a real phenomenon where stars are, it's a really small galaxy, but they contain millions of stars that are packed closer together. Now, because there's no faster than light travel allowed in these, it still takes a long time to get to each star. But they have these gates, and what they use these gates for is an old staple of hard science fiction is 1G of acceleration. So if you had a powerful enough engine, like a fusion drive, antimatter drive, or really big fission drive or something, you could, accelerating at 1G feels like what you're feeling right now sitting here on Earth. You get out into space, you're a little weightless, you get 1G of acceleration. Again, this is what it feels like. At 1G of acceleration, it's about approximately 22 miles per hour faster every single second. You could get to Mars in a few days. You could get to the edge of the solar system in just a few weeks. You could get to the nearest star. The speed of light takes 4.25 years to get to the nearest star, taking into the acceleration needed to at 1G to get close to the speed of light. It would wind up taking you about 5 years, possibly just to cross past it. If you needed to slow down, of course, maybe add on another year. At relativistic speeds, those on board would not experience 5 or 6 years. They would experience maybe a few months, but 6 years does go by. So when you get to the globular cluster, there are these gates between each star that take care of the acceleration problem for you. You still can't go faster than the speed of light, but you don't need to take the time to accelerate as usually needed. And so still takes years as far as people at home are concerned, but you don't have to do the speed up. It's like millions of G's. They have a stasis field that they project around the ship, so you're not instantly turned to slush when you experience those accelerations. And but time dilation still occurs. So even though you might go out and come back in a few weeks or months have gone by, years or decades have gone by for those still at home. Just a little smidgen less time to take out the acceleration needed. One of the other ones I like, they didn't really use it at all, is something called a U-buster. And it's this palm-sized thing you slap to the back of somebody's head, and it erases the person that's in there. And so you have this living thing that doesn't have a person in there anymore, and people will either let it go about, or they might grotesquely take it into their home and raise it as a new person to do with as they please. It's a looming threat, but nobody really makes use of it in the book, though. There are, let's see, the primary lead is one dude named Finn, and he is of royalty, and he wants to be a space traveler, so he tends to run away from home. When we meet him in this, he runs into some people who just arrived in a new Ark ship from old Earth. There's a woman named Ellie, and this becomes his romantic interest throughout the book. She's a pretty good character herself. She's not there just to be his girlfriend, I guess, but she winds up being the wisdom on his shoulder, so to speak, because Finn is, he's spoiled royalty. Certain things just don't occur to him. Like, for example, when his sisters, cause in his royal family, inform him, look, you want a spaceship, right? Well, there's this thing called economics. You need to somehow pay people and get them to work certain shifts and get them to take care of your ship, so because you can't do it by yourself. And he's like, crap, I got to go through all that just to travel amongst the stars. So when they arrive in their Ark ship, they want a place to live, and so he makes a trade. I'll give you a piece of land on my homeworld, and I get your ship. With them is this fellow who actually walked the original Earth, so he's actually a 40,000-year-old man. Wait, was he? It was 40,000-year-old. No, I'm sorry, that's not right. He's ancient. The story takes place 40,000 years in the future when the original ships had left. But Josiah here, he was put into cryo sleep or something, and when he comes up, he's an elderly fellow, but he decides to go into politics, and he's a usual sort of corrupt politician, but he's there just for the fun of it, really. He's just chasing the women when he becomes a politician. But Ellie decides to go with Finn on his adventures, and they need the generator needed to cause the stasis field to get the ship through the gates. And they go off on a quest searching for this Archimedes engine. And what those do is they move planets. So someone, the gist at the very beginning shown to you is that you have this sort of constructed solar system of the ruling class. And they have a star, they have several planets in the same orbit, and this new planet has wandered into their solar system, and they might try to go after it for some mining. It has an Archimedes engine on it, and that's what they use to move planets around. The ruling class storyline. So in the ancient history of this, there wound up being these 6 women who became the central dominion rulership. The 6th one, they decided they didn't like. She wanted this extreme genetic power, and they wind up doing away with her. So there's 5. And when this picks up, what they do is they trade rulership for a few decades at a time. And they have a method where what they do is they have multiple children. Only the women don't carry it to term. The men do, that they pick. The women are in charge. They're the rulers. So they make the men carry the babies. The Celestials are, through what genetic engineering they've used, they're actually rather kind of giantish. Even their children are like taller than regular humans. And so they pick from ruling classes, other royalty, and decide, you're going to carry my kid. And so you'll get a dude with a marsupial pouch. He's had the embryonic egg in him, and there's a scene of birth in here, and this is going to be the child. And what they do, they raise a child, and they put these children through a contest. This is not YA by any stretch, even though it's young people going into these rather deadly arrangements. One in particular, her name is Thyra, and I would like to have gotten more of her story. I was a little more interested in it, or at least as interested as the Finn story, as she is not an innocent, she is a plant. And what's really interesting is that even by the end of this, I'm not really sure if she's good or evil. She is there to try and take over. And she outsmarts a lot of her sisters to get into position. What's going to happen is the young body is this new queen is going to download her mind eventually into this young body. That's where it starts. She's already done that, and now she's raising children to do that again in the future. And it looks like Thyra's going to be the one, as she keeps outsmarting and defeating her other sisters. That's a really intriguing plot line that go throughout. This is sort of like Dune, where you have the Ben Gesserit who get, they make a new Jim Gesserit, and you get this long line of minds downloaded into you that you can use as, advisors and whatnot. The other one is this investigator. He's a police investigator called Terrence. And he winds up being brought under the wing of a Celestial and informed about this great game of political maneuvering that all these Celestials engage in to maintain power and maintain a status quo. So there is a dominance here. Lesser classes, there's a lot of people who just, okay, well, as long as I'm taken care of, because they usually are. There doesn't seem to be poor. I don't recall, unless I skip something, anyone being like homeless. You get pay, you get a place to live, you're basically taken care of, but you don't get the good stuff. You just exist and you live to work for the ruling class. And there are machinations to try and change this. A lot of political maneuvering, a lot of intrigue. There was some of it, there's quite a bit going on here. It's an 891 page book, and I was a little, I don't want to say lost, it's just I had to sit back a few times and go, oh, I kind of remember that remark and that person and that scene and that mention, and you really have to pay attention. You're going to have to stop like I did and go, oh yeah, I recall now. So it's a little complex. This is a very plot-driven book. It does have good characters, does have good world building, but it is primarily a plot-driven book. It is part of a duology, so there will be a second book. I will go ahead and read that one too when it comes out. Probably spoil the ending of this one if I do a video for that one, so we can talk about that book in the future. This is a pretty good book. I have to say, I tried Peter F. Hamilton before with Pandora Star and wound up not liking it at all. So I'm 50-50 with Peter F. Hamilton. So the next thing I am going to read is Natural History. If you could be anything you wanted, would you be willing to pay the ultimate price? This is by Justina Robson. Imagine a world, half human, half machine. Voyager Isol was as beautiful as a coiled scorpion and just as dangerous. Her claim that she'd found a distant but habitable Earth-like planet was welcome news to the rest of the Forged, but it could mean the end of what was left of humanity who'd created and once enslaved them. Imagine a fate. It was on behalf of the unevolved humans that Professor Zephyr Duquesne, cultural archaeologist and historian of Earth's lost worlds, was chosen by the, Gaisal military authority to uncover the truth about the second Earth, and her voyage, traveling inside the body of Isol, will take her to the center of a storm exploding across a spectrum of space and time, dimension, and consciousness. Imagine the impossible on an abandoned planet. In a wrinkle of time, Isol and Zephyr will find a gift and a curse, a power so vast that once unlocked, it will change the universe forever. With Civil War looming, Zephyr's perilous journey will lead her to a past where one civilization mysteriously vanished and another may soon follow. So this will be the next video I do while I edit. So you know, you're going to a globular cluster that's 40,000 years away, and you know, times change generation after generation. A lot of hard to pronounce names in here, so I just kind of glaze over them. So maybe I'm getting more of that in this one. Oh well, what are you gonna do? This will be the next video. Hell, it's December, so I guess this, and then maybe try to do a top 10. I don't know how fast I'll get through this because work is taking up a lot of my time. So I will try, I want to do like a top 10 after this one, unless I actually wind up with more time than I think and read another book, but this will be it. That will be all for now. I'll give you another look at the Dresden tree. You're jealous, you want one. That'll be it. Thank you very much. Have a lovely holiday month shopping. My shopping is not done. I'm waiting on a gift, which is it's overdue and taking too much time to get here. I've already complained to eBay about the seller, so we'll see if I can get it. It's for a nephew, a Playmobil space set. Just hasn't got here. Then the rest are some gift cards. Then I won't have a lot of Christmas shopping to do, but I will get done when I need to get done. Thank you very much. Have a good week, have a good month, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.